Hey guys, it's Paige at Comfort Books, and I'm here to film my March 2013 wrap-up of all the books I've read this month. And I gotta say, I haven't been reading, I do read a lot, but I haven't been reading that many books during the month because I've been at school, and it's been crazy. But this month, I read quite a few books. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I plan to finish at least one more before the month ends. So I have a total of 7 books this month. That's pretty good for me because I usually only read like maybe 3. Maybe 3. Like it sometimes doesn't even get past 3 or 2. It's crazy. But let's get started. So the first book I read was an ebook for Tor. And I didn't finish it on time, but I posted the review soon after. I just didn't have time to finish it because it's harder for me to finish ebooks on time just because it's so small and it's like it gives me headaches if you read too long and on the phone like this or on a phone like this or an iPad. If you're staring at like light, it gives you a headache after a while. So it tends to be harder to read ebooks, but I mean I still read them. Anyways, I read Fractured Soul by Rachel McClellan, and I don't know if you can see this because it's very light. I mean, you can see it, but it's kind of really light, and you can't really see. I don't know, but this is Fractured Soul. It's the second in a series, so I'm not going to tell you much about it. But it is about a girl who can control light. I'm going to tell you that, because that's the interesting part. The next book I finished was Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. I bought this month, actually, and it came in as soon as I finished reading. I actually started one of these books first, and then I ordered it, and then I finished reading Fractured Soul, and I put the book I was reading over here down and read through this, and it was freaking amazing. I want to go see the movie right now. Like, I'm pretty sure the movie's out right now, so I really want to go see it. I'm going to try to get some friends together to come see it with me, because my mom doesn't like zombies, so she won't come see it with me, so I'll have to get a friend or something. Hopefully I'll be able to see it soon, because the book was amazing. The next book I finished was The Legend of Mickey Tussler by Frank Nappi, and this was a book for review. I got the first 2 books for review. I have to read the second book, not now, but soon. And so this is about a boy named Mickey who has autism, which I don't think people really realize that he has autism, because this is based in 1948, which I knew, but I kind of forgot. So when some of the things happened, I was completely shocked, and then I remembered this is back in the day. Like, things were different back in the day. Like, they didn't know what autism was back then. People were still rude and calling people retards back then. I mean, they still do that now, but it's just not as bad as now. But anyways, it's about a boy named Mickey who has autism, and he's being treated bad by his father at home, and his mother is abused too, verbally and physically. And he wants to play baseball, so the other main character, Arthur Murphy, comes in and discovers his talent and makes him a star baseball player on his team. And it's a really good book. I loved it. The next book I finished was actually a school book that I just haven't given back yet. I had to read it for my class, my human development and relationships class. I had to read Too Soon for Jeff, which is, I actually, in a couple of my other videos, I showed this same author's first book. This happens to be the second book, because we read both books in the class. First book was about a teenager, a girl, getting pregnant and her boyfriend leaving her. And this one's about a boy who gets a girl pregnant, and he doesn't end up leaving, and he ends up being a dad. He's not a completely full-time dad, but he's not, like, never there, you know what I mean? Anyways, so it was a good book. There were some parts that kind of annoyed me, and I don't really do reviews on school books, even though these books were really good, and I plan on reading the rest of the series, because even though they're really old, this book is about as old as me, I think. And it's a couple years older than me, actually. And that might not be old, but for a book, it's kind of old. But I still do plan on reading the rest of her books, because she has a lot, and they're all based on the same, like, high school issues, because, you know, and they're really good books, and they're really good to read for, like, teenagers like me to, you know, get into those kind of stories, you know. Okay, the next book I read was A Trick of Light by, I don't know if this is Lewis or Lois Metzger. Mitsk, I don't know. It's, as you can see, it's a pretty short book. And it's an ARC. I got this from Around the World ARC Tours, and it's actually 2 days late right now, but my dad's been getting home late every day, so I haven't been able to mail it out. Hopefully I'll be able to mail it out tomorrow. Hopefully. If not, it will definitely get mailed out Friday, because I get picked up early on Friday. It doesn't come out till June, so it's going to be an early review, but I'm kind of excited because this book comes out the day after my birthday, so that'd be an awesome birthday present to get this, you know. Even I already read it and reviewed it. Imagine it would be an awesome birthday present when it comes out, that there's a quote from my review in here. How awesome would that be? I'd be, like, in love. Anyways, this is about a boy named Mike who is kind of weird. He doesn't have many friends, and one day he meets this girl. I think her name's Amber. Yeah, her name's Amber. And Amber has an eating disorder, and she kind of passes that on to Mike without him knowing, like, because you know how when people get sick, they kind of are in denial. Yeah, that's what it was with him, and bad things happened, and it ended up being a good book, but it was kind of annoying watching, because you knew what was happening the whole time, and you were watching him just be stupid about it, and you were just like, what the hell, why are you being so stupid? You know, you just wanted to jump through the book and say, hey, listen to yourself and look at yourself, this is happening. But it ended up being a good book. So I hope to read more from that author, because I think that's a debut author. Hope to read more of that author's books in the future. Okay, so the last book I read this month so far, because I plan on finishing one more book, because I'm almost done. Definitely be able to finish it before the end of the month, hopefully. So anyways, the last book I finished so far is Will Grayson by John Green and David Leviathan. This was a TBR Pile readathon book this month, and so I read it with the TBR Pile participants. So we had discussions because there was 4 discussions. First one, second one, third one, fourth one. Oh no, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So there's 4 discussions altogether. If you guys want to see them, they're on their respective blogs. And there's comments from everybody on the questions and blah, blah, blah. I still have to go make my comments for section 2, and then for section 3, and then section 4's questions should be coming up soon. But this ended up being an amazing book. I loved it. I loved all the characters, except for, like, obviously the mean ones. But I even liked them at some points. It was pretty awesome. But this book, amazing. Because, you know, John Green is amazing by himself. I just recommended one of his books to my cousin. She's a reader like me. And so she's like, I need a book. Can you recommend one for me? I was like, yeah, I'll grab one off my shelf and bring you one tomorrow. So I'm thinking, she's like, I kind of want a dramatic read, but, like, you know what I mean? And she's like, I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. I'll get you a book, I promise. So I ended up bringing her The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. And the whole time she was reading it, she'd send me random text messages like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening, and oh my god, I don't want to hear the ending, it's gonna be sad, and it was so funny. But I, like, every time she texted me, I was like, I can't tell you, I just can't tell you, and she's like, I know, I don't want you to tell me, I'm just telling you, and I was like, okay, and then she, apparently she didn't like the ending, like, she loved the book, but she didn't like the ending, because she gave it back to me yesterday, and she came over, and she, like, slammed it on the table, and she was like, thank you, and then she walked away. It was such a funny reaction. But anyway, she loved the book, and I loved the book. And I just love John Green. And recently I read one of David Leviathan's books, which I think I've only read one by him, not including this one. I've read 2 now. But I read 3 John Green. No. I've read 2 of each. Because, including Will Grayson, I've read The Fault in Our Stars, and then I've read Every Day. And those were, all 3 of these books were freaking fantastic. So if you haven't read any of them, you need to read them in. This is getting really long, so I'm going to show you the last book that I hope to finish. And that's Next Summer by Haley Abbott, and I read the first one last year, and I loved it, and so I had my boyfriend pick out a book for me to read, so I gave him, like, 3 options or 4 options, and he picked out this one, of course. So I'm reading it, and this is close to being finished. Definitely finish it by Saturday, because it's only been, like, a day, and I've read that much, or 2 days. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and leave me links to your wrap-ups below, or just, I don't know, just comment. Thanks for watching.